Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be with all of you at, is it Team Friesen? I'm not sure, and all of your
Yep.
offices. So this is always very exciting to me to be able to share and talk about a company that I love dearly. I've worked for Tauck now for almost 12 years, and it has been an absolute pleasure to bring a company, as I said, that I love dearly. And we do lots of different things. We are still very much for those of you that may not be quite as familiar with Tauck, I'll give you just sort of a quick intro. So Tauck was founded in 1925 by Arthur Tauck Sr. He was at the time living in, I think, in New Jersey or New York, I believe. And got an idea as a traveling salesman that perhaps people would like to get out on the road and join him on his little expeditions around New England. And he sold bank trays, which is a whole nother story in itself. But the first 5 people that replied to his ad, he took them around in his Studebaker and realized very quickly from the very beginning that by including most everything in the price up front, that his guests were having just a great time. They sat back, relaxed, and thoroughly enjoyed everything that we offered and that he did with that trip. So those 5 people told their friends, and we've actually never really done any advertising, print advertising since then. We've really grown the company by word of mouth. Arthur felt that it really quite grew in a manner that he could handle it. And so, the next year he ran 2 trips and so on and so forth. And so we're now 97 years young, and Arthur Tauck Jr., turned 91 a couple of weeks ago and is still very much on the board of directors. His 4 out of his 5 children are very active within the company. And now the 4th generation has begun their internship and taking an active role in all sorts of different things. But the beauty of Tauck truly is not only are we very much a family owned and operated company, but we still stay very true to what Arthur's beliefs were back in 1925. And it's truly for our journeys are for people who like people. And sometimes that sounds funny, but sometimes you don't want maybe to travel with other people, or there are people out there who don't want to travel. And there's lots of reasons for it, and we forgive all of them. But we really still are very much about traveling and meeting people, not only on the trip with you, your fellow travelers who generally have shared the same sort of interests and want to learn more about a destination. So if you are interested in those kinds of things where you really want to go deeper into the places that you visit, and we go now to all 7 continents. We do river cruising, we do small ship cruising, we do family journeys, as you can see there on the left side of your screen. But it's really all about getting you deep and personal wherever we happen to travel, and then we take care of all the details. So today we're going to highlight a little bit about river, and we're going to talk a little bit about our exotics program in Africa. But again, just kind of want to share with you some of the common themes, no matter what journey you look at. And what Arthur believed in the beginning, he was the tour director, but he would hire incredible local people to take his clients into these wonderful places that he was seeing in New England. And as I said, as we expanded around the world, and that's really a key and important thing. And one of the things that our guests rave about is our incredible Tauck directors and our local guides. So the directors are always there, never selling you anything, because there's no optional tours to buy, no shore excursions to purchase. You pay for everything up front other than your airfare to get there, which Expedia will arrange for you, of course. But once you arrive, we'll take care of everything. And our directors are there singularly focused on your journey and making sure that you get to see and do all the things that you want to do from whatever journey you happen to pick. And as I said, we work well with some of the most incredible local guides all over the world, and we have some very exclusive relationships, which I'll highlight for you as well too. So as I said, we do lots of different things, so please don't think this is the only 2 things that we do, but the philosophy and the ideas and the choreography that go behind all of our trips are evidence in what we're going to talk about today. So river cruising, of course, is a way to travel that I love. It brings you more deeper into the heart of Europe, as opposed to just sort of seeing it around the edges. These were the original highways of Europe. So it allows you, if you haven't done it before, to truly go and experience and see not only daily, as you're sailing, but then when you're docked, you're in the heart of many of these towns and cities throughout Europe. So we have about 8 ships roughly now altogether. Might be 9. Sorry, forgive me. It's been a while. And we travel and sail on some of the major rivers of Europe. So you can literally sail along the Rhine, the Main, which connects the Rhine and the Danube. And then we have ships on 2 rivers, well, 3 technically in France. So, excuse me, on the Seine in the north, and then on the Rhone and the Saône in the south of France. And last year, we were finally able to christen our brand new ship, the Andarina, which sails on the Douro in the north of Portugal. So if these are places that you've thought about, I encourage you to have a look at what we do. Certainly, there's lots of choices out there. So I want to kind of give you an idea of what makes Tauck unique. And we very much are so. So as I said earlier, we include everything, and on river, literally everything. All your meals, your drinks, your gratuities, choices of excursions. You really can literally get on a Tauck River boat from beginning to end. And when you leave the ship, unless you've bought something in the gift shop or ashore, or you took advantage of our I wouldn't necessarily say it's a spa, but we have certainly spa experiences on our riverboats. That's really all you're going to spend any money on. Gratuities, as I said, is included, and it's not expected at the end. And that's everybody from the person looking after your cabin to the tour directors, and there's a team of them, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So these are 4 of our biggest sellers, but certainly we do lots of other itineraries as well too, from the beautiful Danube, which is anchored, as you can see there, in Budapest with the beautiful Parliament buildings, and then we continue or start in Prague, depending on what you're doing. And a lot of our itineraries on water, whether it's river or small ship, we do combine them with land journeys, because at the heart of what we do, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are very destination focused, and that's what separates us truly from everybody else out there. We really do choreograph incredible things with great experiences. So even if you've been to a city before, chances are we're going to get you somewhere without waiting in line to see it in a more in-depth. The Rhine Enchantment, you may think, Milan is not on the Rhine, Charmaine, and you're absolutely correct. So what we do is we either begin or end that particular itinerary with 3 beautiful nights in that wonderful city, and then we take you by train to the ship. So you really get a great way to combine a Rhine river cruise, and maybe you've done it once before, but combine it with Italy, which is always a fabulous place to do it. And then of course the Rhone is our Savoring France. This is one of our itineraries there. So you've got wine tasting, but you've also got Paris, you've got Lyon, which is the gourmet capital of France, and a beautiful city with a market and dining experiences. And we will take you off the ship for dining experiences on every river cruise that we do, because we feel that it's great to eat on the ship, but it's also really great to experience these cities of Europe and their cuisines. And then, of course, we have a number of itineraries on the Douro on our newest ship, and this is our most popular one for the obvious reason that you spend 7 wonderful nights cruising on the Douro, and then you are also going to spend time in Lisbon and Madrid at either end of that itinerary. So we include and stay at some of the most iconic hotels around the world, wherever you're traveling with us. These are just a few examples. And again, what I mentioned earlier is that we do include hotel and land packages on almost every, we have a handful of cruise only river programs, but the vast majority of them have land stays with them, with the beautiful hotels. And again, maybe not every meal included, because now perhaps you want to go and do some things on your own, but still always going to start your day with a wonderful breakfast, and then sightseeing, and then meals included as well. One of the key differences with Tauck on our river program is that we have a team of tour directors. So there's 4 or 3, depending on the itinerary and the dates that you're sailing with us. So we always have a cruise director whose role is really to kind of keep an eye on things, making sure your luggage, gets there and arrives, that your transfers are all arranged properly and double checked. And then just making sure, that if there's things going on, we tend to have challenges sometimes, as I'm sure you've watched in the news with water levels. So again, that's really the cruise director role. The gentleman you see there in that wonderful, colorful outfit on the right-hand side is Jeremy. He's one of our cruise directors. And so he is always making sure that we're taking care of things. And if something has to change, he can do that. But that then allows our team of tour directors to focus on you. And again, traveling with you when you get off the ship, they're there with you. If perhaps you're starting off with a hotel stay in Prague, they will be with you from the very beginning to end. And then you'll meet our team of cruise directors like Jeremy. So again, just the little things they take care of. They're there, as I said, to work with you individually, making sure you're having a great time, and often providing more lectures on board the ship. Again, we bring on local people to do lots of great things. But again, we have a team of directors that come from various parts of Europe and North America, and that have different levels of expertise. For example, the lady standing next to Jeremy is Anita, and she's a former FBI agent. Anyway, she's got cool stories. So as I mentioned earlier, all the excursions are included. There are choices, and it really gives you the opportunity to do what you want to do. You know, so often when people talk about going to Europe, they think of castles and cathedrals and, you know, all of these sort of typical things, but we love to give you other choices. We know we all want to do more. And so we've got active journeys, we've got bicycles on the ships, but we've also got guided hiking or kayaking or lots of different ways to stay active. And then perhaps you're a car nut. So have a look at a couple of our itineraries on the Danube or the Rhine, where we take you to either the BMW museum, we go to the Porsche museum in Stuttgart. So there's lots of different opportunities to do different things. And people don't necessarily have to feel obligated when you're traveling with somebody to do the exact same thing. We all know that, you know, for me personally, the car museum was a bit of a whatever, but there was a bar at the end, so I was fine. But my husband would, you know, skip all of the cathedrals if I let him as well too. So again, this gives you different opportunities to be able to do so. And sometimes choice is also a very personal thing, in the sense that, you know, we visit some of the concentration camps, the work camps in Europe. And sometimes for some people, that's not something that they wish to do at that particular time, and that's fine as well. But again, we want to give you, you know, those opportunities to really experience all of what Europe has to offer. As I mentioned earlier, every river cruise itinerary has what we call sparkling events, where we leave the ship for a dining experience. And it isn't just taking you to a restaurant for dinner. It's also about incredible entertainment, what's exclusive to those particular areas. So it's the Palais Pallavicini on the right in Vienna, and a lot of other river companies may offer you an opportunity for a glass of champagne and a concert in a palace. But what we will do is offer you that, but then we open that second set of doors and we go into this incredible Baroque ballroom where the music will continue. There will be ballet, there will be opera, and then you will also have a beautiful 5-course meal. So again, it's about doing a more in-depth opportunity. Sometimes even the prince is in the house, but there's other wonderful palaces and chateaus that we visit. Getting you to Giverny, for example, when you're on the Seine, going when it's not, or very early in the morning before it opens to the general public, or as I said, picking a quieter time to visit these places so that you're not lined up for that fabulous shot on the bridge. This is an incredible family, multi-generation, that has this wonderful farm in the Camargue. And so when you're on the Rhone with us, you'll get to visit this family, hear their stories, meet their beautiful, or see their beautiful horses, their cattle that they raise. They have incredible stories. It is just an amazing, and when you drive in and this family is sitting there on their wonderful horses, it really is just a special, and we're the only company that goes down there. This is again on our another one of our journeys that travels on the Rhone with the Saône. It's combined with a hotel stay in Lyon and also with Cannes as well too. And this is a wonderful evening spent, hopefully if the weather is good, at this beautiful evening outside at the chateau. I was very fortunate when I was there last year to be able to meet the Duke, this property has been in his family for hundreds of years, and he shows you his little train collection. He also showed us some very cool cars and some other wonderful things. He's very shy, so I can't promise you that you'll meet him. But again, this is another example of what we love to do. I'm not going to go through a bunch of slides, just want to give you an idea. We have wonderful river boats. They're built for us by a company called Skilla, who's a family-owned and operated company in Europe. And our ships travel with less guests than everybody else does. So we have 84 on the Douro, 95 or 103 on our other ship. So 130, sorry, this is our longer ship, the biggest one we have. And as I said, 130 at the most. These ships docked next to others would have anywhere from 160 to 190 guests. Again, it just gives you that little more personalized experience with us. Quickly, just wanted to show you, as I said, I'm not going to show you all of how our rooms are set up, but on these 4 ships that we've built now with 130, on the lower deck, we created what we called our loft cabin. And these are so cool. They're definitely for someone who maybe, you know, is looking to not spend quite as much money, doesn't need the full French balcony experience. But this room is on the lower deck. It's a category 3. So it's priced really well. It's the same size, 225 square feet. So it's the kind of the average size of all of our rooms. But what it allows is, if you look up here, you go up a few little steps, you have almost what's like an indoor balcony. So you have a full set of window that goes all the way to the very top of that little sitting area there. And you have on the side of the wall and beside the bed is a set of switches. So you can actually open up this middle pane of glass. It slides up to allow fresh air. You get a lot more light, because if any of you have ever sailed on the lower deck of a riverboat, those windows don't open. You are literally standing as such in the water. So this really gives you more of what our clients were telling us that they were looking for at a great price point and a fabulous room. The TV actually even goes up and down as well too. And you can control the curtains going opening and shut from there, and also by the bed. All right. And lots of little fun details. Sorry, this is, I know I'm going to start running out of time, so I'm going to move it along. The Moet Chandon flows freely on all of our riverboats. The little touches, the little things. And ultimately, with all of our journeys, our transfers are included when you arrive and when you depart, not 3 times or set times during the day. It can be a car that picks you up. It could be a coach. It could be a van. But it really just depends on how many people are coming and going at the exact time as you are. So it really allows you for that wonderful experience when you come out and there's your name, and we'll take you directly to the ship or the hotel, depending on where you're staying. So an area of the world that I love to talk about is our exotics program, which visits lots of other continents around the world, but definitely Africa has stolen my heart. I just completed my 3rd trip to Africa this past summer, and it is truly, if you have it on your list, don't wait. It is an absolutely incredible destination, not only because of the wildlife, but the people and all of the landscape. And you will, to me, the light, I kept talking about that. I'm not a big photographer, but the light is different. Everything about Africa, and it is a big continent, so there's lots of different places we go. So I'm going to talk mostly about the south and the east part of Africa. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you on a little itinerary that is the elegance of South Africa with one of our architects.
So our South Africa Elegant Adventure is a great mix of culture and safari, history, culinary, just really a great balance between Cape Town to Kruger National Park, Johannesburg to Victoria Falls. We stay in some of the most wonderful lodges and camps and hotels anywhere in Africa. You get personalized lectures, personalized guides, private cruises. You leave the worrying to us. Cape Town is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Great little restaurants, just great shopping, wonderful people, and just the stunning beauty of especially Table Mountain and the surrounds. We also visit Steenberg Winery, where we have a wonderful wine pairing dinner. My favorite thing to see with our guests and to experience with our guests is the first time that they see lions. I feel like I've found this present that I'm giving to our guests, and I just can't wait for them to open it and to see their reaction. The wonderful thing about South Africa is that most of the time you're on conservancies instead of national park lands. It's a much more intimate experience on safari. With heavy hearts, we leave Kruger National Park area and we head into Johannesburg. We actually start out the day going out to the Apartheid Museum, and then we have a wonderful lunch at Urbanology, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Africa. We leave Johannesburg and head to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. We go to the Victoria Falls Wildlife Trust. They have a family of elephants that they've rescued. You're actually able to feed the elephants, get up close and personal. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Wow.
I never tire of that video. It's a relatively new one anyway, but one of the things I get asked a lot is, if you haven't been to Africa and you're not sure where to go or what to do, or which part or when to go, and certainly you can do a whole talk on that, and always open to share that with the team at Expedia Cruises and yourselves. So that Elegance of South Africa is really probably a great first time trip to Africa, because you get, as Kelly mentioned in the video, you get the safari experience in Kruger in the conservancies, where you can actually easily find lions and rhinos up close and personally, but you don't see the large herds of animals in those areas that we may have all grown up watching on Wild Kingdom. But you also get the history. You learn about apartheid when you're in Johannesburg. You get the experiences when you're at Victoria Falls. So and wine tasting. Oh yeah, how did I forget that part? Oh my gosh, amazing. So it's a really great combination if you're not sure that safaring is really what you want to do all the time. So it does give you 2 incredible lodges in the Kruger Park. And then, as I said, it combines it with lots of other great things. Now, if you're going back perhaps for a second or third, or even if it's your first, maybe this is really where you've always wanted to go. So this particular itinerary gives you Botswana. And Botswana is truly one of the best places for elephants. We stay in some of the most incredible properties here at Chobe. You get to see meerkats. If you sit still, they may do what they've done for this young lady here on the left. But it also still gives you Cape Town and up to Victoria Falls, this time seeing it from the Zambia side instead of Zimbabwe, because the falls are right there at the border of these countries. So this is really a great way to do a more safaring, and a little bit different again, as I said, in Botswana, where you have a lot more water opportunities, river safaring, as well as the land. So that's just something to keep in mind here. Here's a shot at Chobe. So you're literally, these people are probably never going to remember what they ate that day, but let me tell you, they're never going to forget what was literally right there beside them while they were dining. So this is very typical. This is an opportunity that you can get to do on a number of our itineraries and safaris in Africa. Now, this one may look similar to the last one, but this one again is a little sort of less safarying as such. You really just visit at Chobe, and you've got Kruger as well too, and then combined with Cape Town. So this one again is really good if you don't necessarily want to be safaring for large portions of the trip. So just something to keep in mind. They're both fabulous trips, but it really comes down to, with everything you do when you're looking at traveling, what is it that you want to remember? What do you want to take away at the end of the trip? And at Tauck, we really focus on that. We want to make sure that you don't feel like you were nickel and dime, that it was done. You got to see and do all these amazing things. And I mean, Mother Nature does what she wants. So every safari is a completely different experience, having done it myself a few times now. So it really, that part we have no control over, but what you get to do and where you stay is really an important part of everything that we do. So East Africa is where I have gone now twice. I have been once to South Africa, to Kruger. And for me, seeing the herds, like we started making jokes this past summer. Oh, look, another wildebeest. Oh, another wildebeest. So, to see the large groups of them. And again, it really, whenever you go, you will experience the animals. They travel in a circle following the rains between Tanzania and Kenya. So at any time of the year, you're going to get to see them. Predators do not migrate. So they are always in their pride in their areas. And you'll see different animals depending on when you go at different times of the year. So I've gone a few times in the summer months when it's drier. And then other friends of mine I know have gone in our winter, their summer, where it can be a little rainier, but it's more lush and lots more water. So again, your experiences are different at different times of the year. But one of the most amazing highlights, and again, we include it in the journey, which very few companies do, because it averages about $550 US a person. So when you do it with Tauck, you're not paying that. We've spread that cost over our groups of people. But to do that hot air balloon ride in Tanzania or in Kenya is absolutely breathtaking. I cannot, literally, when we did it this summer with our kids, it was just wow, like that's all you can hear in the background. And they take you at different heights. They bring you in quite close so you can see the hippos in the streams, elephants, giraffes, but just even the scenery and the lighting, as the sun is coming up in the morning, it is, and then you go for this amazing breakfast with champagne. And anyway, so this is what I would say to you if you really want a safari experience. It combines Kenya and Tanzania. You stay at some of the very iconic, the Mount Kenya Safari Club. You stay at the Ngorongoro Crater, right on the rim. I had a wonderful opportunity to spend time with a giraffe literally right outside my patio. So it's up close and personal. It really is just a spectacular trip. So it does give you that combination of those two amazing countries. And then this one is focusing primarily only in Tanzania. So again, it's mostly safaring, visiting a number of different properties, starting off in Arusha, but then we take you for a little different way to relax and enjoy and spend time in the Indian Ocean on the island of Zanzibar, which is now part of Tanzania and which is known as the Spice Island. So again, here you go out on a dhow boat, you get to spend time on the water, a great way to relax after doing some amazing experiences in Tanzania. And what we added a few years ago was, with both of our itineraries that visit East Africa, is to add Rwanda as well too. People, if you're going to fly that far, no matter where you're coming from, it's a long flight. So try to take full advantage of whatever time and finances that you have available to really see and do what you like, because it's definitely a long flight. So this is the Tanzania and Kenya trip that combines it with Rwanda, and then this is the one that does it with just the Tanzania portion. So either one are open to you, and again, you get to experience and meet up close and personal the gorillas. We have what we call at Tauck our family journeys. They're called bridges. They're again all over the world. This is one designed for families. So our tour directors that work on these journeys are really set up and love kids, and it's all about multi-generations. I literally, just before I got on to record this with you today, an email from an agent who forwarded it to me. Her clients just did this journey this summer. It was breathtaking, a trip trip of a lifetime. It was superlative, everything. And it was just great. As the grandmother who sort of coordinated it initially, she had as much fun as her grandkids because there was no onus on her to do anything. So if you're the planner in the family, or even within your couple, or however you travel with friends, if you're that person, you're going to want to look at any Tauck journey, because once you pick the trip, we're going to take care of the rest, and you don't have to worry about any of it. So that's a really great sort of wrap up to that, to the presentation as such. So at Tauck, we don't discount, we don't have specials, we don't do a lot of promotions of any kind. However, if you've never traveled with us and you're listening and watching this today, and I hope I've piqued your attention to go somewhere, whether it was river or Africa, or you want to go to Italy, or you know, visit New Orleans, we have some great journeys. So it doesn't matter what trip you might be interested in doing. If you've never traveled with us before, I can offer to you a complimentary hotel night, either pre or post of your journey. As I said, have a look at the properties that we stay at. This is great value, but it gives you the gift of time as opposed to discounting what we know is the right price for the trip. So that includes your transfer and your breakfast in the morning, and it just gives you a little bit of time to sit back and relax, and maybe have an extra swim in the pool with some friends. So as I said, at Tauck, we really want you to have the best trip. We just want you to relax, enjoy it, take it all in, and never step out of the moment. That was Arthur's firm belief back in 1925, that the moment he charged them, back then it was a nickel, for something extra, you step out of the journey, you think about it. You may have to have a discussion with your travel partners as to whether you want to do that. And even if you've been given the list in advance, it's just great to know that, yeah, this is what I saw in the video, this is what I saw in the brochure on the website, and I'm going to get to do it, and nobody's going to ask me for more money. And it doesn't really matter, I think, where you go in the world or how much it is. It's just so nice to just sit back, relax. We're just going to take care of everything. You just got to get there, and we'll meet you, and it'll go from there. So truly, Tim, we'll wrap it up here. And as I said, we truly love working with all of the team at Friesen, at all of your offices around Ontario. And they are truly experts in what they do. And then they know, to reach out to companies like myself. And I do hope that you'll consider to travel with Tauck in the near future.